And now, the Lafayette Food Junkie Show, served up medium rare every Sunday night.
Welcome back to the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL. I'm your host, Tiffany Daku. Here we talk about all the food happenings around Acadiana. If you like food, tune in. You might learn something new. Alrighty, Valentine's Day is over. Mardi Gras has come and gone. And I think everyone is kind of in recovery mode right now. Terry Duga is joining tonight as guest co-host. Did you do a lot of Mardi Gras-ing this year?
A little bit. Not too much. Because, I mean, it was Ash Wednesday. It was like a whole... I mean, not Ash Wednesday. It was a lot. Like, it just... There was a lot going on all at one time. I feel like I didn't have enough time to catch up.
I had to work, and we were extremely busy.
Oh, I'm sure.
And then I got off of work, and then I'm in grad school now too. So it was really, at the end of that day, I was like, oh, I'm so ready. And funny enough, we are usually busier Ash Wednesday than Mardi Gras Day, and it was reversed this year. And I have a feeling Valentine's Day had something to do with it. But I had a very low key Valentine's Day, very low key Mardi Gras, and they just came and went, and it was like a regular old day to me, work day for me.
The holiday season, it just seems like you just bounce. Like, it just does not stop. But now, we've got that like little lull until Good Friday. So
yeah, and then so Easter is on April 1st this year. Yes. So April Fool's Day. So we have that next to look forward to. So I've been doing the morning show on Fridays at KADN. It's Food Fridays, and they always have a restaurant or a home cook or somebody come on to cook. And I'm also have been doing since the first of this year low carb keto. I know you're doing keto, yes, and we'll talk a little bit about that later. But being that I do talk about food for a living, it's kind of hard for me to be on a diet that's restrictive. So what I generally do is once I meet goal for the week, which is a pound, I'm just looking to lose a pound a week, I go off of it and I'll eat regular food. So that way I can kind of showcase healthier options for, people that are interested in that. And then, regular food that's out there for people who want to know that. Well, this week on Friday, Zia's was coming on, Zia Rotisserie. And I was just like, oh my God, please don't bring corn grits unless I made goal for the week. Because, I mean, how can you not go to Zia and not get corn grits? But the good thing about them as well is that they have a lot of healthy dining options. Like, I love their grilled fish. Like, they do some of the best grilled fish in the city. And you can get healthy sides. You can get like the hummus with cucumbers instead of the pita bread. So they do healthier options, but I was just like, please do not have corn grits. And I woke up that morning and sure enough, like, didn't make goal for the week. It was kind of having like this crazy, like, everything that could go wrong morning happened. So like I got to the station and I immediately was like, what are they cooking? And since it was Lent, they did a salmon poke tostada, and they did a shrimp, not shrimp, it was a grilled fish Creole. And I was like, perfect. I can have both of those, just not eat the tostada or whatever. So they cooked it, and I kind of missed out on the poke, like, because they do like 4 segments before I even get there in the mornings, because my segment is kind of later. So it was all mixed up, and it was basically like a salad. So I didn't really get to eat a lot of that. The grilled fish Creole was really good. So it's grilled fish, and then they put crispy baby spinach on top, and then it's an smothered okra, like tomato, and it was really good. It did have a little bit of sugar in it, brown sugar. So I called it low carb-ish. Yeah. But it was still something that I could eat, and they had me taste it. In one of the segments, I literally ate the entire time while everyone was talking around me, and didn't realize it until I went back and watched the footage. And I was like, I straight up just ate that entire segment. But it was delicious. That's 2 of the Lenten options: the salmon poke tostada, the grilled fish over grilled fish Creole. And then we went last night because I was craving corn grits. Well, yeah. And I had made goal and I wanted it to happen. So Fridays and Saturdays, they're packed always.
Yes.
They do, really good dinner service. And I loved to watch them work because as busy as the restaurant was, it was like a well-performed orchestra having, like, everyone moved seamlessly. They didn't look panicked. They did look like they were hustling, but it was just perfect service in the craziness of the restaurant. So last night, one of the other Lenten options that they have that they didn't do on the show is a shrimp remoulade grit cake. So it's their amazing corn grits in cake form with shrimp remoulade on top. So I got that last night. Delicious. They also have this crab cake, and their crab cakes are seasonal. So they change out the recipe seasonally. So this one, I swear I tasted like there was almost like potato chips in the crab cake. He couldn't tell me if that was the case or not. I was like, something is very potatoey that I'm getting in there. But it was good. It was delicious. And they served it on top of a plantain. And then they had like a cream sauce. So that was also wonderful. So shout out to Zia. I'm sure they were very busy for Valentine's Day.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
And then it was like, it's always like corn grits or Thai ribs. Like, I love everything at Zia. Like, I was like, I love this restaurant.
I've never
so
had
much.
a bad meal there, so
yeah. And then, like I said, the service was, I drank cocktails. I did find, so if you're not the biggest sweet cocktail fan, it's not the best option for you, because I got 2 cocktails. One was called the Jalapeno Business, and it had tequila, pineapple puree, and I believe it had Grand Marnier or something like that, and then like a jalapeno puree as well. And it was still a little on the sweeter side. I got it because I was thinking with the jalapeno, it'll kind of like balance it. It was still a little on the sweet side. And then they have something called a whiskey basil that has like whiskey and some other things in it with basil, and it was also a little sweeter. So if you're not the biggest sweet fan of cocktails, not your best option there. But if you're a fan of the frozen Cosmos, or the Bellinis, or the Zeritas, I think is what they also have there, that's prime time to go. And it's wonderful. Like, that's what they said, that it's a good location too.
Yeah, it really is. It's super convenient.
They said that they get a lot of people from the movie theater, and then like Red's is right there too. And
it's very centrally located too, so it's easy to, access from all points.
I told them that I used to work out at this place that was located in the strip mall behind it, and I would get out and the smell of roasted meats like killed me. And he was like, we do that on purpose. Like with the Reds right there too. Like everyone's working out and they get to smell roasted meat coming from them. So they're like, gotta go eat that and check it out. Yeah. All right. We are going to take our first break. And when we come back, we have more with Terry. So come back to us. It is the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
And now we talk about food. It's the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
Welcome back to the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL. I'm your host, Tiffany Deku, and joining tonight as guest co-host is Terry Duga. Yep. We had kind of a big food announcement week. And by that, I mean, we had like 2 exciting things happen, but it is Lafayette, so we are a smaller market.
Yeah.
The first thing, it was announced that Lafayette is getting another all-you-can-eat sushi restaurant called Sushi Masa, which is going to be opening where Copeland's was, right across from IHOP. And Sushi Masa they have one in Baton Rouge. I don't know if it's like that the original one was in Baton Rouge or not, but it's a chain and it's all you can eat. And the thing that differentiates them is that it's for $25. You can get all you can eat sushi, and it's not like a bar. Yeah. You can't go, like, it's made to order, and then it comes with either an alcoholic beverage or like a Coke. Yeah. So that's kind of what sets them apart. Sean Michael Rutherford, who's been on the show, has talked extensively to me about Sushi Masa. A lot of people that have been to the one in Baton Rouge are very excited that it's coming.
Yes.
And he said also too that he liked that it was like artistically displayed on the plate. It wasn't just like thrown on the plate.
So yeah, like it's, I mean, I've never been, but from what I've been made to understand, it's just like going to a regular, sushi restaurant.
Yeah.
It just has this like beautiful option of getting as much as you can eat. So it's pretty much the same thing. I've heard, multiple people say that it's a great experience. I'm excited to try it and see what happens.
So my thought about it is, can Lafayette support to all-you-can-eat sushi restaurants that are essentially very close to each other? Because Wasabi is located a little bit down the road. And as has been said before, we're a little oversaturated with sushi restaurants.
Yeah.
Like, in fact, where my apartment is, I have 5 within walking distance. Yeah. And I don't understand how they're still in business. And because I feel like literally every person in Lafayette could each, like just one person go and eat at each sushi restaurant in the area.
Well, I think like a lot of people, I mean, you can, see if this happens with you, but I've got a number of friends who have that specific one that they go to.
And that's the thing too. So it's like I have my sushi spot, but then it's like, who's eating at these other sushi restaurants?
So I think that's what it is. I think like, people have these kind of ideals, especially, working in New Iberia. Like I've got people who drive into Lafayette and they're very specific about which sushi restaurant they're going to. A lot of times I hear about like Tokyo or obviously like Tsunami downtown, that kind of thing. But it's like people have these very specific ones that they are going to and they will not hear anything else about the other ones. I'm an equal opportunist when it comes to sushi. Most of the popular places in Lafayette I think are all great. So I don't want any of them to close because I go to them for different things.
Okay, so I need examples now that we're talking about this.
So for instance, like when it comes to hibachi, my favorite is Tokyo on Ambassador in front of Athena's. But when it comes to maybe like the all you can eat quote unquote kind of options, Osaka is really good. Like they have that like situation, but you have to like you have to finish.
I think all of them have that rule.
See, I didn't know that.
And it's terrifying. And it's always terrifying to me.
Yeah,
I'm
me
like,
too.
Oh my God, I got to finish all these rolls.
Exactly.
And it needs to happen. And I can't leave any rice on the plate.
Exactly. But it's like, it's so you end up going to these different places for these different things. And they're great, but I do agree. Like we are oversaturated. But at the same time, that being said, we have a lot of restaurants. We have a lot of repeats of kind of the same thing, with a slight change. And is that a negative or bad thing? I'm not sure. They all like are open and are all seemingly.
That's what I don't understand how they're staying open. Like I don't understand that, especially in some of the places I never see cars out front.
Yeah.
So I don't get it. And I have like my favorite sushi places too. I feel like, come on, like, we need something different. And I remember when I think Samurai was probably one of the first sushi restaurants, Bonsai, and then Tsunami. It brought sushi to Lafayette because I remember when they opened, part of the reason why they did it is because people were driving to Baton Rouge to go to eat sushi because we didn't have it here. And Tsunami brought sushi to Lafayette let's be honest, the downtown dining scene, because before they came, there was kind of nothing down there. And
they're great.
And I don't think they're going anywhere.
No, definitely not.
In fact, they've expanded to Baton Rouge and New Orleans.
Definitely
that is the one
not.
Sushi restaurant that is not going to go anywhere. But it also has the vibe that it's like this place that you go for sushi, like to be seen.
Yeah, it's like
and it's very
high-end,
social. Like it's almost like the La Fondas of sushi.
Yeah.
Is how I would describe it.
Be seen and
because that was the first place I ever had sushi.
Oh, really?
And I remember before we have the mass amounts that we have now, I would tell people, because at that time there were still not a lot of people who had tried sushi. I would tell them to try it at Tsunami first because they had like the Louisiana themed rolls, and I'm a big fan of people that are kind of scared to try new things, like easing them in. And so I always try to find something familiar. And I'm like, they have alligator and soft shell crab and crawfish and fried shrimp.
So these are all very familiar
So I was
things.
like, ease it in that way. So I used to tell people to try it there. And then I'm like, once you're good there, try these other places. And I like Osaka. Like Osaka is my place. Like I can get in, sit down. It's usually not that busy. And it's good and it's consistent sushi. So that's usually where I'll go. Now, I'm a fan of the all-you-can-eat ones now because for $30, you can get all you want. And usually it's $30 for 3 rolls. So, price-wise, but you better eat all your rolls. Yeah. You better eat all of them. Yeah. That's always so that was always so terrifying to me when we would go and eat somewhere. What happens if like you're not full and like you're full and this other roll comes and you're like, oh my God, like I gotta finish this, and what's gonna happen?
Suffer. That's what you do.
Yeah, make it work for the cause. And next time, don't order as many sushi rolls.
No, yeah.
So the other exciting thing that happened this week is the James Beard Award semifinalist awards list came out. And if you're not familiar with what the James Beard Awards are, it is kind of like the Oscars of the food world. If you're on the list, no matter what, if you win or not, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
And we always have restaurants from New Orleans. And so they have the chefs in regions. And in the southern region, first thing on the list was Chef Manny Ogillo with Bread and Circus Provisions, which was really exciting to have a Lafayette chef on the list. And I'm excited for him, and his pizza is great. And I think that getting that wood burning oven was the best decision that they ever made. And late night, I'm a big fan of the late night. I haven't been in a hot minute. Yeah. But I think that they're doing really creative things with the menu for the late night crowd, and it's not expensive at all, to get. So what do you think about?
I mean, just congratulations, right? Man. I mean, it's so cool. Like, I love Lafayette. I love living here. I love being from here. So it's always really cool to hear about local people from Acadiana who are doing big things and making, big strides in our city. So awesome. Like, congratulations. More power to you. More success, more growth. I really want Bread and Circus to move into a bigger location because it gives me anxiety going in there with such a tiny space. Do that. And all of those people. I know. It's a pipe dream. But just if you want to open up a second location somewhere, I will support that one. It's just tiny spaces, lots of people. I mean, every time I go, it's like a crowd. Which obviously is a great thing for them. So congratulations, enjoy, all the best.
So the other thing that was exciting on the list was for Best Wine Program, Lucky Palace in Bossier City was made Best Wine Program. And if you haven't heard of Lucky Palace, I've talked about it a lot on the show. It's like an alternate universe. It's located in a very not desirable a motel, not even a hotel, it's a motel. And there are, drug deals going on and lots of suspicious activity going on in the lobby. You open the doors, it's like red. You can't even really see well. And then when your eyes get accustomed, you see like all these Wine Spectator magazine awards that they've won. And you'll see the bottles of wine that they have there. And I'm so happy for them because first off, it's Bossier City. Yeah. Like, we got not just New Orleans this year. We got Lafayette and we got Bossier City on the list. Like, good job, Louisiana. Yeah. And he's such a nice guy. And like, I had one of the most wonderful experiences there. I felt like what it was to dine out like Anthony Bourdain for the night. Mm-hmm. We had over $2,000 worth of wine. Oh, wow. I had a $600 glass of champagne. Like, the bottle was $600, but I got to taste it. And yes, it does taste wonderful. So
all it's just $600.
It's fantastic. And you can get pretty good Chinese food to go along with it. So that was the, other thing that was exciting that Bossier City and Lafayette made it on the list.
Speaking of Chinese food, this is like a quick aside, but I was in Lake Charles, about 2 weeks ago, I guess, technically speaking. And I had probably the best Chinese food.
Really? Do you remember the name of the place?
What is the name of this place? I'm going to have to look it up.
You're going to have to look it up during a commercial break so we can discuss it.
Yeah, we need to talk about it. It was delicious.
Okay. What was it, like buffet?
We ordered it. Like we ordered it on Waiter, as a matter of fact. And I'm like trying to scurry and
scroll through and see.
But it was so good.
Okay, well, we're gonna have to check that out.
JoJo's. There you go. JoJo's China Bistro. That's what it's called. So if you were in Lake Charles, try JoJo's China Bistro out. They had some of the best sesame chicken I've ever had.
Oh.
And I mean, you know, it was just Chinese takeout. So
stamp of approval.
Yes, please.
All right. And on that note, we're going to take another break. So come back to us. It's the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
The best tasting radio show in all of South Louisiana. It's the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
Welcome back to the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL. I'm your host, Tiffany Deku, and joining tonight as guest co-host is Terry Duga.
Are you tired of me yet?
No, never. I love that we have been talking about Taco Bell, dining experiences in Lake Charles, like during the commercial breaks. So it's always an exciting show when you come on. So I've been trying to dine out when I'm not dieting. And so today, since I drank a little too much last night, I was very much craving a greasy cheeseburger. And there's this place that's on Waiter. It's called Rishi's Why Not Stop? And it's a gas station that's going towards Youngsville on the Ambassador extension. Yeah. And people have told me they have really great hamburgers. Their burgers look amazing on the Waiter app. So I was like, that's exactly what I want. I, however, am not smart and forgot to add cheese on the hamburger. But it was still a really good hamburger and would have only been even more better with cheese on it. Mm-hmm. And it brings me to a thought, like, why would you even order a hamburger without cheese?
Some people do.
Do you know anyone that does orders?
I do. I do really know people who don't get cheese on their hamburgers.
What is the reasoning behind it?
I don't know. I mean, like, some people are like lactose intolerant.
Okay, I can see that as being a reason. Like, that's the kind of, when I was driving over here and thinking about that as being a topic, that was one of my rationales, is that maybe they're lactose intolerant. Yeah. But besides that, why would you not order cheese on a hamburger?
I don't know.
Because
like cheese belongs on
a hamburger because it adds, like, it binds the bread to the meat. Yeah. And it just adds to the flavor of a cheeseburger. And it's like, you want,
especially when it gets like gooey and
and especially if you want grease, like, it adds grease to the burger.
Like, it stores grease, like
So it needs to be on a burger. And on that note, McDonald's announced that they're removing the cheeseburger from the Happy Meal, which I think is just pointless.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely ridiculous. I understand, like, McDonald's is trying, and
I could see children not eating cheese.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess McDonald's is trying to move their Happy Meals in a quote unquote healthier way. But I'm like, really, it's not making that much of a difference. Yeah, like, it's fast food. At the end of the day, like, the parent who is taking their child to this restaurant understands what they're signing up for.
Right.
Whenever they go to McDonald's. So one would just hope that the parent is making better food choices around that McDonald's meal. Like, there's nothing wrong with having McDonald's on a Saturday afternoon, you know, when you're running around, you're in the mall, you're doing whatever, and you just stop off and get something really quick to eat. It's not like the child's having McDonald's every day. Now, I take that back. Some people might be having McDonald's every day. That's why we have my 600-pound life. But, you know, like,
you shouldn't be having McDonald's every day.
You shouldn't be having McDonald's every day. But some people are. But at the same time, removing it from the kids' meal is not going to stop a parent from just ordering a cheeseburger.
Right. I don't see the point of that. I think it's incredibly stupid.
Yeah, doesn't make it
just don't eat at McDonald's as much as you're eating at McDonald's.
Like, just don't.
I don't understand it. I don't think that that's going to make this big difference by removing the cheese.
To me, there are other changes that McDonald's could make.
I know some adults who order Happy Meals because they want the smaller portion size are going to be upset by this because they're ordering the cheeseburger.
Well, cheeseburgers is still only like, what, $1.06 on the menu. Like, you can pay $1.06. And you can get a whole meal at McDonald's for $5.
But maybe they want to collect the Hello Kitty tea set that is in the McDonald's.
You're going to have to collect that on your own time. Okay.
Just get your little 4-piece nugget.
Or go on eBay. I'm sure that there is a set on there you can order for, 25 cents.
Do you know that most McDonald's don't have play areas anymore either? It's video games.
Yeah.
And it's another sad testament of the times. Maybe you should have left the play areas in the McDonald's.
So the kids could work off the
and then you could have left the cheese on the cheeseburger. I don't see, like, I know so many parents that would bring their kids, for instance, to Chick-fil-A, because they have like the play area, to bring them there, get something to eat, let them play, like run it off, and then be fine. And so I just can't see them being like, let's go to McDonald's now so you can play video games, like you can play at your house.
Yeah.
Like I don't see the point of that. And I think that's really sad. And I feel like removing the play area is worse than removing the cheese.
Yeah.
The cheese should have stayed on the hamburger. Play area should have stayed.
Yeah. I think partially what's happening is like, if you notice, a lot of like, the fast food restaurants are starting to make themselves look better. I mean, Wendy's is redoing all of their restaurants. McDonald's has been redoing all their restaurants. We just did a ribbon cutting for the Burger King on Center Street, and it's completely revamped. It's absolutely gorgeous inside, very streamlined and modern, and
do they
all
still
of that.
have? Because I know the McDonald's on Johnson has introduced the like, you go to a computer and you basically punch in your order.
They do not. But I've seen those like in airports a lot and stuff like that.
That's why they took the play area.
So I think what's happening is like they're trying to make themselves look cooler, and a play area no matter how you set it up, does not look cool. Like it's not, it doesn't make that, young 20-something want to go in there, despite the fact that that young 20-something might have kids who might want to play in those things. But I think also, and I don't know, I'm not a parent, but I guess like maybe there's a lot of parents who were sitting there and saying that those play areas were just cesspools of grime and disease.
And that's a possibility that
shouldn't play in it. I don't
but
know.
Also maybe it's helping build your immune system.
Yeah, exactly.
Too.
Let them get a little dirty.
Throwing that out there.
You can always wash them off when they get out of there.
But yeah, so that was something that was announced this week on my little rant about you shouldn't have a hamburger without cheese. End of that. I had Dinos Pizza this week too, and it's been a while since I've had a Dinos Pizza, and I got the Cajun Samurai. Have you had that one before?
No.
Okay, so the Cajun Samurai has fried shrimp, a like creamy sauce. I called it like a bang bang in parentheses sauce, and then it has like Chinese noodles on top of it too. And it was, I tore it up. It was so delicious. And I like Dino's because of the toppings. Like you go there for the toppings. Like if you go to Bread and Circus for pizza, it's about the dough. Like the dough is amazing. It's hot. It's bubbly. It's doughy. The char pieces on the crust are like the best part. But really you're going there for the dough. Dino's, you go for the toppings because they have like crazy toppings. They have the pizzas of the month. And also if you're a wings fan, they don't have wings, they have drumettes.
Yeah.
And they're breaded. So if you like breaded drumettes, they have the best in the city.
Shout out to my friends Grace and Angel. They absolutely love them. They are really good though. Like, and then that like wing sauce on there, like they're delicious. Crispy, and that ranch. Oh, so good.
See, I ordered some of the boneless wings and I didn't get ranch with it, and I was like, this was a mistake.
You're doing this wrong.
I should have got like the whole time I was eating them, I was like, I really wish I would have got ranch with this. Ranch. But I think it costs extra.
That's rude. A wing should just come with ranch standard.
Thank you. Yes. But it costs extra, so that's why I was like, nah, I don't need it. Yeah. And then I was like, I need it.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you like breaded drumettes, this is the place to go, like for your wings. Like you can get them there, and then their pizzas are great. So shout out to Dinos.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have been cooking a lot at home during the week. And have you been cooking a lot with your keto diet? Let's talk about that for a minute.
So
because I know you were terrified. To start it.
I've only been on it for about 2 weeks. And shout out to like the Lafayette Keto group because they are super, super helpful in there, and all of the people like post every day, and they, they're just really great about sharing tips and sharing recipes, and telling you which recipes actually work and which ones don't. So it's been really, really nice. And it's just been a learning experience. I mean, I was telling you about how I ended up getting like the beginnings of the Keto Flu a week in, and how it just terrified me so much that I had to like pause it for a little while. But I'm going to get back on it starting tomorrow morning. I'm already set up. I've gone grocery shopping, and I'm already ready to start for the week. So, I mean, it's great though. I mean, it's got its benefits, and I was starting to see those benefits immediately, but it just, that Keto Flu scared the crap out of me.
If you can do it, like I feel like it's the best for people that kind of have a hard time with diets because you can still eat meat and cheese. Like, you can still eat most foods. You just have to cut out, potatoes, grains, and sugar. And then you realize like how addicted you are to sugar.
Yes.
When you bring
problem.
it out. See, I've been craving dark chocolate, which you can have on it in moderation. I did try to get the 100% dark chocolate and just don't. I felt like when I was a little kid, I snuck into my grandmother's pantry and she had baking chocolate in there. And that's exactly what it tasted like. And I regretted it immediately because it was just like, it was so bitter. Now, you can make it edible by dipping it in almond butter. That made it, I could eat it then, but just don't. So I'm going to try 95. Yeah, I'm going to try 95%. Now to see if that's a little this diet is very popular, so all these companies are coming up with ways to get on the bandwagon for that, so it would make sense. But
I've been on the hunt for like an alternative sugar.
Stevia.
See, I don't like stevia. My issue with the sugars is the chemical taste. So I've like, people keep telling me to try Swerve. Apparently they sell it at Drug Emporium. I don't know.
See, I have the same problem, and my solution was just like I learned to drink coffee with half and half or heavy cream. Like I just didn't put the sugar in it. Yeah. Like that's how I learned to live with it. However, I was making smoothies in the morning, and I was like, it needs a little bit of a sweet. So what I do is I got the stevia, and only a tiny amount. Because if you do a tiny amount, that chemical taste isn't there. And I agree with you, like that aftertaste is disgusting.
I mean, that's why I can't drink like Diet Coke.
Yeah. So just the tiniest. So that's what I would recommend, like using a tinier amount. Mm-hmm. Or you can also try coconut sugar. And coconut sugar is still kind of like white sugar. It's just lower on the glycemic index and your body doesn't process it as fast, but it's still sugar. So you don't want to like put a ton of it because you're still getting carbs from that. Yeah. But you might be able to use that in small quantities, depending on like how much carbs you're taking in a day, to check that out. Cause that's what I use too. And I found it to be sweeter than regular sugar. So I could use a smaller amount of that. Yeah. Or just learn to not do the sugar.
When it like my issue is I drink juice. Like I love Simply Lemonade, like the Simply Lemonade line. Like I keep probably like 2 or 3 different kinds of Simply Lemonade in my apartment on with sweet tea, like standard. Like my friends know if they come over, if they want juice, I got juice. So like I was trying to search for alternatives, and I did like CVS has got like a 0 carb, 0 sugar drink that. Like it's like the CVS brand that they make, and there's one that's like pineapple coconut, and it's delicious, and the aftertaste isn't so severe. But like I just tried this past week the Cokes, the new Diet Cokes with like their new flavors.
I haven't seen them.
Like CVS is selling them like individually, like you can buy them cold, and you can buy like the packs.
Oh, okay.
So take a trip, when you have the time. But like they're not terrible, but once again that chemical taste is still very there. Prominent in that. And to me, I'm like, it's 2018. We should have a sugar alternative that's
do you like LaCroix or LaCroix?
No, I can't stand like I have a friend who describes them as fruit farts. Like that's like that's what it tastes like. I don't get it.
It's an acquired taste.
I don't understand
and I've acquired the taste. Like that's all I can say is that it's an acquired taste. And I've grown accustomed to it, just like drinking my coffee without sugar in it.
I can't get into like the fruit water thing. If I'm going to have a fruit water, like, I'm like, I don't mind fruit in water. My issue is that La Croix is literally like marketing like the essence of a fruit in water, and you can barely taste the essence. It helps
with my soda cravings.
Yeah,
too,
yeah. I mean, I've heard that from a lot of people. Like
it's like that fuzzy, like bubbly. Yeah, you get that.
To me, it's just aggravating. Like I'm like, if I want to taste like a coconut kiwi situation, like I want to be able to taste the coconuts and the kiwis, not just like the rinds that were dipped in there. So my friends and I came up with a joke about like just dipping anything in water and then packaging it, because that's what La Croix's doing. So like you could have like crawfish water, like just head on out, to Mo and go dip, a cup in there and pull, put a cap on it. Or, anything, ranch water, pizza water, like just dip it in a vat of water and be like, there you go. It's got the essence of it.
And on that note, we're going to take another break. And when we come back, we have more with Terry. So come back to us. It is the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
From Boudin to the best burgers Acadiana has to offer, it's the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
Welcome back to the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL. I'm your host, Tiffany Deku, and we've been talking with Terry Duga. Right now, we are going to talk about Girl Scout cookie season, which is my drug of choice. I feel like there should not be any other Girl Scout flavors, though, besides Thin Mint, the Tagalongs, which is like the coconut caramel, and then maybe the peanut butter ones, which have gone down in quality over the years from when I was a Girl Scout selling them. Those used to be my favorite ones, and the quality of the peanut butter has gone down.
Partial to a tag-along. So.
Okay. Is that the peanut butter one? Or
That's the one that's like the peanut butter, the chocolate, and the cookie.
Oh, the Samoa is the one that's the chocolate and...
the coconut. Right? Yeah.
I love that one, too. Yeah. See, but for me, it's like Thin Mint all the way.
Oh, yeah. The Thin Mints I keep in the freezer.
Yes.
And pop those out. It's just so refreshing.
I'm kind of ashamed at the amount that I bought from Chef Paul Crato's niece. She hasn't delivered them to me yet. Next week, though, fingers crossed. I'm putting them in the freezer because I don't want to be alone knowing that I have all those boxes of cookies in the freezer.
I always feel like a crack addict, trying to go and get them, I'll see a girl with Girl Scout cookies and I'm turning my car around, or one of my friends posts on Facebook and I'm the first one that's hey, yeah, let me get 5 boxes. I got you. And
they've gone up in price. They used to be $3 a box, which I mean, how can you beat that? And now they're $4 a box. And then somebody was telling me that cookie companies have kind of gotten in on it, and you can get a Walmart brand Thin Mint, and she was like, it tastes just like Thin Mints. And I was like, it tastes like lies. I was like, that is not a Girl Scout cookie, and it's not the same. She's like, but it is. And I'm like, no, it's not. Yeah. But they've gone up on price. They recently had a story come out where a Girl Scout was selling cookies outside of a medical marijuana dispensary. Genius business move.
Genius.
This little girl's going to be going places.
She made bank.
And they were trying to decide whether that was okay or not. It was decided that, she can sell outside of a medical marijuana dispensary. So what do you think about?
She's not going in the building. I would have an issue if she was in there, amongst the marijuana, but she's not. She's out in front. So what's different, from her being in front of Super One or Walmart or, insert whatever place here? It's a legal business. And she's just selling her cookies in front. And then on top of that, it's genius. It's absolutely genius. So I applaud her. And I applaud her parents. Maybe that little girl can go out there on the off season and sell her own baked goods out there.
Maybe one day.
I mean, geez Louise,
whenever I think of Girl Scout cookies, I think about Thin Mints, but I also think about the movie Troop Beverly Hills.
Me too.
Yeah. So every time I think about it, I think about Troop Beverly. I think I'm going to have to watch it.
Yeah.
It's amazing to me too. The girls were so little in the movie, and now they're adults.
Yeah.
Because they were older than me in the movie. And now they're...
My favorite part is when they're actually selling the cookies and they have the little girl and she's singing this Tina Turner song, and they're passing them out into the crowd. Amazing.
I love that
movie. Is iconic.
I love that movie so much. If you have not watched Troop Beverly Hills,
please do. I don't think it's on any streaming services. It might be on Amazon.
I'm gonna have to go home and check this out.
It is so good. It's the most ridiculous thing.
My favorite is when they're going to the expo and they made the book sack that kind of folds out and it's a closet.
Yes.
And the Wilderness Girls were making fun of them. Because they're not Girl Scouts in the movie; they're Wilderness Girls. So the other troop is making fun of them, and they end up saving the day.
Exactly.
At the end of the movie.
That movie is amazing. Oh man! Now I want to watch it. Movie night.
We'll have to make that happen. Completely off topic.
Exactly,
okay. Also, Cheesecake Factory was named one of number 27 on Fortune's top 100 best places to work list. And do you think it's about the cheesecake?
I mean, like, I guess so. Like, to me, I'm like, if you take care of your employees, a lot of people, here's my issue with Cheesecake Factory, and it's not really an issue.
I've never been, so I'm just going to say that.
It's not terrible. Cheesecake Factory, to me, is one of those places that people actually really like, but it's a chain, so they think that they sound cooler if they're like, oh, so you like Cheesecake Factory, like it's whatever. But first off, like, you get a really good size portion of food when you go.
I've heard that their menu is like a phone book.
Yeah, their menu is huge. There's a whole bunch of options. There's a whole bunch of cheesecakes that you can get. I've been a few times. The service is, pretty standard and fine. And like, I don't know. I've had some okay meals there. I've never had anything and been like, oh, that was absolutely wretched. Like, most of the time it's just like, okay, it's like standard American bistro trying to sell you every different kind of food.
We're going to please every palate.
Yeah,
is what I call
exactly.
that.
We're going to please every palate, and none of it is terrible. It's, it's just very standard food. So I could see how some people who, once again, are trying to be, hoity-toity, be like, oh, I'm not going to eat there, which, girl, that's fine. I'm just letting you know. I'm going to eat there. I'm going to eat there, and I'm going to have cheesecake. Like, I'm just going to do it.
Well, how could you not go there and not eat cheesecake?
Some people do.
I feel like if I'm ever in a city that has a cheesecake bistro, I'm going to have to make this happen.
Oh, yeah.
Or Cheesecake Factory, not bistro.
Not bistro.
But, yeah, I'm going to have to make this happen.
I don't know.
Okay, so switching from cheesecake, we're going to go back. So I try to meal prep during the week, and I'm a super big fan of cooking in the slow cooker. So I decided that every now and then I'm going to share recipes with you guys for anyone who's interested in something quick and easy to cook in the slow cooker. So this past week I did a recipe. It was chicken taco soup in the slow cooker. It has 5 ingredients, and say you forgot to thaw your chicken, no problem. You can throw frozen chicken into a slow cooker and it'll cook. So what you did, and what I did actually, is you take, I put 2 pounds of frozen, I did 2 pounds of frozen chicken breast in the slow cooker at the bottom. And then to that, you're going to add 1 jar of salsa. I chose to do a super cheap jar since it's in a slow cooker. All the flavors in this really nice gourmet salsa that you may buy are going to get muddled and lost. If you want to buy a more expensive salsa, more power to you, but you can do it cheap. So 1 jar of salsa to that. Then you're going to do, the recipe called for either Monterey Jack or pepper jack cheese cubed. I decided to do Monterey Jack and pepper jack because I'm a big fan of cheese. So I added that in there as well, cubed it up. Now, I would recommend shredding your cheese before putting it into a slow cooker, because if you cube it, it's going to melt, but it's still going to be kind of chunky. Like, you're going to have chunks of cheese in there. To just kind of get it more evenly distributed in the slow cooker, shred it. And actually, I would leave the cheese, don't put it in right away, but maybe like an hour before it's ready, put that in there and then let it cook. So that way it doesn't get all clumpy in there, which every time I cook with cheese, that happens. So that's something that I'm learning with the slow cooker thing. From there, you kind of cover the whole thing with chicken stock and you let it cook for 5 to 6 hours. Now, that was the basic recipe when I found it online. I added taco seasoning to it because when I saw that, I was like, that sounds very bland. Yeah. So what I did was I got 2 packets of taco seasoning. If you can make your own because it's going to taste better. But this was a quick decision while I was at the grocery store, actually. So I just bought 2 packets of like the taco seasoning mixed to it, which was the best decision ever because it was so delicious once it was done. So I added that in there and I'll let it cook. If your chicken is frozen, you're going to have to let it cook longer because you're going to have to take the chicken out and shred it to put it back in. If your chicken is already unfrozen when you put it in there, it's going to be easier to shred in the pot, so you don't have to actually take it out to kind of cut it up. I was running out of time, so I didn't let my chicken slow cook enough. Like if you have time and let it go for 8 hours, like let it do its thing. And when you stick a fork in there, the chicken is going to fall apart. But I didn't have that time. You can shred it or whatever. You want to get it, into tiny chunks, like stir it all up and serve it from there. So that's a low carb chicken taco slow cooker recipe under 5 ingredients. And we were out of time. Thank you so much for joining tonight, Terry.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
All right. That's our show. Thank you so much for tuning in. Join us next week, Sunday at 6 p.m. This is Tiffany Deku on News Talk 96.5 KPEL. And this is the Lafayette Food Junkie Show. Thanks for listening. And as always, happy eating, Acadiana.